But that's the kind of connecting theme, the sense of the warrior. And that is something that we have an ambivalent attitude toward. I suppose at its most positive, that warrior archetype is the strong, assertive thing that protects the less strong and the less assertive. The one that will go hard against an opposing force to keep safe that which cannot look after itself in the same way. But that does imply that there is a threat to go hard against. And when there is no threat, we're left with our ambivalence towards, especially towards those for whom being hard and resilient is their purpose for being. And that warrior that fought Thorm might well make misuse of their, or be misused. Just as over in America there is the threat of misusing their warriors against their own people. Even, I suppose, in those belligerent wars, you might make a case for saying, my people need food, I'm going to go and take it from you. And that may have some justification, I don't know. But it probably comes down to a failure on our part, if that is the case. But these poems all are linked by that thought of the warrior. And it's not a negative thought necessarily. Because being able to stand up strong and assert yourself doesn't necessarily need to cost others or be harmful to others. There's a temperance in it, perhaps, that we need to know about. So, to begin, these poems skirt around the idea of the warrior and come out from different ways. And this very short one at the beginning refers a little to the glorification of the warrior, particularly those who lost their lives in pursuit of that, and what that does to those who follow on. It's called Glory. The first war done, the dead lain around, the living left crying at their knees. The storyteller spoke to their tears of a good death, of an honour under heaven. They should not have let the children hear. The children being by far the ones being protected. That thought of the vulnerability of the warrior is a very short, almost a two-line poem I had. I can't remember the name of it. It goes something along the lines of, yes, we will need warriors, and they will need to be protected. This one came from the sheer naked vulnerability of the warrior, of the soldier. I'm not speaking necessarily of men only. Anyone who goes out to fight in that way leaves their vulnerability at home. Or buries it inside them. But that thought of the vulnerability, the tenderness of a warrior, that they Well, anyway, this is a poem that's called The Child Beneath the Shield. I thought it just a battle cry, to carry skin into the metal mill and iron clash, to bring bone home. But one battle's end, as he let me bind and gather up the blood from the floor, I saw upon his arm, beneath the shield, and heard the mouthing of a hungry boy, round belly, kicking legs, and reaching paw. Something of the hero, of the warrior, has to go beyond the safety to discover things, and of course there is a cost often of that. It needs a willingness to take the risk. This poem's called Hero. And perhaps more than the willingness to do it, it also speaks of the reluctance of others not to. Hero. I would rather this killed me than see what lies beneath. Many skeletons said that, as the hero passed by, sword heavy in the fist. But as she pressed the blade point first through the heart of the beast, many headed, and then slumped bloody bites in her breast, finding herself in life unexpected. All the bitter tongues stilled. You tried, she said. Saw, came armed, died. Take your rest. Thinking of the warrior or the hero as different aspects of ourselves. Each of us, in our way, a fighter. Each of us, in our way, the child we protected. Trying to find them in the right balance and the right relationship to each other. Perhaps that's something to do with what this poem is, which is called Mind. As the hero roared, molten metal spewing from their mouth, from the Godhead kept us safe. I ran to the child, crying quiet in the corner, in the shade, took them in my arms, felt their tears on my cheek, little weight, wide mouth drawn down in fear. Hand then placed on the hero's back, sheltered by the broad shoulders, cool beside their legs, placed invisible between the gold of their broad chest, their protecting bellow, and the silver sleep of this protected child. I wonder at I alone, and what my role will be, the battle done. This one is included in my first collection, Sabrina Bridge. It's called The Battlefield. It speaks of the battle being not only between the warriors, it speaks of their ghosts perhaps a little bit. Do you not hear, Father, that the soldiers will rise again from the field in anger? When flood has come and gone its way, I sometimes see the whites of their remains digging through the clay. And when the wind assails the trees, or running under storm, I often hear their yells or cannonade across the vale. I fear their harm. Hush, girl. Tomorrow morn you'll follow me behind the horse, and as the harrow breaks the dirt, it crumbles to the bones by each furrow thrown, ploughs them back into the earth. Who would want but to go back into the ground he died upon, with comrades all around and foemen too, a commonwealth amongst the tilth? Leave the clutching of your gown, your mother's close, sleep a child's dream. I've heard them, father, buffet at the doors and at the gentle window pane, dance the smoke back down the chimney, wanting in, wanting out again. Felt it in my frock clamped across my thigh, and in the blood I shed, felt against my chest. My mother lies amongst them. I see the earth disturbed around her grave, and there is marching in my ear as I lay myself to rest, Father, I fear. You've never strode, miss, upon a battle's scarred and sorry earth, seen the soldiers knotted on the ground, arm in bloody grip, with innards ripped and lying in a tangle all around, the captain trapped beneath his horse, and by his own command garroted. None is so blinded one to other as soldiers in the fray, in slaughter as in laughter, to rise against those who know it not is not the soldier's way. And the last of these that I want to read today, The Warrior, of which this set is named. It's one of the most recent things I've written. It is informed by recent events in America. It may not be a worthy offering towards Black Lives Matters, but it does take something of recent events to it. It's called The Warrior. The warrior had put down his shield. People were walking freely. There was no fear. Sunshine is a kind thing mostly. But the king believes it his. Most of us nod benignly, ridiculous really, give it no mind. The men in armour shine so brightly. The king believes them his. The warrior walked the street, beautiful, sunshine shining in his skin, deep gold, deep power, emboldened. That's enough. Silver on the armour brings him down, pile on the silver badges. The king believes it his, the sunshine stolen in another's skin, crushed a criminal. The warrior unshielded, sunshine unshielded, suffers at the king's hand, the king's men. Fear in the street, fear in the land. The king will not claim that, will not claim that.